contacted some people who know you guys and love you guys. And I asked them,
What?
okay, tell me more about why you love this person, why you think this guy is not only a human being that you admire, but as a bull, what are the qualities that you see in them? And I thought this might be good because what I'm going to be talking about is your strengths and asking you why you feel your strengths, how they apply to the lifestyle, and why they have helped you be successful.
Okay.
Does that sound like a fun game? Okay.
This podcast contains explicit adult content, mature themes, and candid conversations about sex, dominance, power exchange, and ethical non-monogamy. It is intended for audiences 18 and over only. Listener discretion is advised. The views expressed by our guests are theirs alone and do not necessarily reflect the views or values of the hosts, producers, or affiliated brands. The Bull Brotherhood podcast is for educational, entertainment, and empowerment purposes only. Nothing in this podcast should be interpreted as legal advice, medical guidance, or psychological counseling. We speak from experience, not credentials. Always practice consent, respect the boundaries of others, and follow local laws. If you're not comfortable with frank talk about sex, kink, dominance, or emotional power, this probably isn't the show for you. But if you're ready to step into your masculine edge and embrace a lifestyle that demands mastery, welcome to the Brotherhood.
Welcome to the Bull Brotherhood podcast, where we talk power, pleasure, and the art of dominance in ethical non-monogamy. This is not your average lifestyle podcast. This is for men who lead, men who master, and men who leave a lasting impression. If you're here, you're not just curious. You're ready to elevate. So to all the bulls, hot wives, stags, and open-minded explorers, we see you. Let's go.
Oh yeah, claim the mind, train the body, on the soul, deep connections built on trust. Let's all go from conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to another informative episode of the Bull Brotherhood podcast. This is the one and only Brian Morgan, aka the Sigma Male, coming at you, along with my nephew and partner in crime, the one and only Socrates. What's up, brother?
What's up, Punk?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are actually going to give the beautiful and sexy siren the night off. The reason being because we have the sapiosexual one from California again with us, our brother Pagan. P, what's up?
What's going on, man? I got
All right, huh?
it's just no intro like a B Morgan intro, man. I gotta record these. I gotta keep them.
I do appreciate that. And again, brother, welcome to the Bull Brotherhood for the second time. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a really special episode tonight because Socrates and we are gonna not be asking the questions tonight. We're gonna turn it over to the extra special co-host Pagan himself. He's going to take the reins right now. He's going to interview myself and Socrates. I guess giving a little per se origin about the two of us. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you again from the great state of California, our brother, Bull Brother Pagan. Take it over, baby.
My people, thank you for having me back. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in to something that I want to be clear, neither Socrates nor B came to me with this idea. I came to them with this idea. It occurred to me, listening to these episodes, that some of the audience might just want to know a little bit more about their host. Clearly, these guys are knowledgeable. Clearly, they have experience. Clearly, they're very good at articulating those things and helping out others. But I thought it just might be interesting to get into like who these gentlemen are, where they come from, their origin stories as these superheroes in the Bull Brotherhood. So I'd love to just jump right in with you guys, if you don't mind, and just get to know y'all a little better. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
Outstanding. All for it.
Perfect. So I guess, yeah, like D said, let's start off with, when Peter Parker got bit by the spider. Like, tell us a little bit about your origin stories. Maybe, Sak, you could go first. Just, I know some people have heard it, so feel free to truncate it. But just to give us a little bit of a background, as if this is my first episode, who are you in terms of where you came from and how you got into lifestyle?
Yeah, yeah. So appreciate it, man. Appreciate you doing this for us, and I'm already excited because I know you're gonna have some awesome questions. So yeah, I was vanilla most of my life, but I thought differently. At a very young age, I knew I did not have the kind of like, how do I want to say this? I didn't have the same feelings about jealousy that most people did. So like, I was dating this really beautiful girl, Jet magazine model, just beautiful from top to bottom. And I had found out, one of my boys found out that she was cheating on me, and they was like, "Oh man, you're not gonna be mad. You're not gonna do something." And I was like, "Well, I don't know. I like pussy, and I like more than one pussy. I would imagine she likes dick, and she might want more than one dick." So my friends thought I was weird because I was like, she probably could have just told me, And so that was my mentality for a long time, but I didn't take that into, married life or anything, because I got into ministry pretty early on in life, and I wasn't even thinking about any of that. So fast forward, I get into a marriage with an now ex, and I told her when I first met her, I said, "Look, I'm really interested in this swinging thing." I didn't know, any of the terminology, and if we're gonna do this, we need to go in that. We're gonna go in that direction. And she said, "Cool," but I didn't really know what I was doing, and I made a lot of mistakes. I was doing a lot of research, but I didn't know how. So half of it was porn, and I didn't know I didn't know anything about podcasts or anything like that. So, long story short, me and her get into the lifestyle together. It's pretty much swingers, and she wasn't really 100%. She was never forced or anything. She loved doing it, but every now and again she would have twinges of like, I don't know if I'm really supposed to be doing this, or if we should be doing as much as we are, or anything like that. So we really weren't on the same page with lifestyle, but I loved it. And so by the time we had divorced, I had read a lot of books on the subject, and podcasts, getting online, reading forums, just everything I can get my hands on it. And then I read a book called Sex at Dawn, which is pretty much like an anthropological approach to non-monogamy. And then I was hooked. That was it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. I do know that book, my brother. And you are absolutely right describing it that way.
Yeah.
That one goes deep, and it goes way back into the primal nature of who we are. Okay. Stay focused. B, Morgan, your origin story. What was the moment when you went and decided that you would be who you're going to be, and who were you before that?
Well, let me tell you, who I was before that. I was a very, very skinny kid. And when I say skinny, I was real thin. If you take a pencil and stand it up and put my face and head on it, that's what I look like. Yeah, a very, very late bloomer. The only thing that I had going for me, I could shoot a basketball pretty good. I really did not. I had girls in high school, but I wasn't what I ended up becoming. Graduated, joined the United States Army immediately, and a few years later, at age 25, 26, I found myself overseas in Germany. And that was when the baptism took place. I if you know anything about Germany, you know when a black man goes over there, he becomes just a movie star. I don't know any way to no other way to say it. But I got over there and I met a beautiful 48-year-old Russian businesswoman. And Pagan, when I tell you she was fine, she was not fine, she was fine. You know what I mean? She was all that and a bag of chips. I mean, everything, she checked off all the blocks. Um, First and foremost, I had a just a absolute passion for older women. You know, I lost my virginity to an older woman, so it was already in me. I just loved older women. And this lady took me under her wing after we got together for the first couple of times. And as a young guy, you know, you think that this particular compliment that I'm about to say is really a real compliment. And at that time, at my age, it was. But now, at the age that I am now, I realize, okay, that was really like the start of something for me. And she said one day, she said, quote unquote, she said, "Goddamn, baby, you have no clue how to make love, but you can sure fuck." Now, for somebody 26 years old, you know, your chest kind of jumps out. You know what I mean? But I then realized a little bit later on after she introduced me to the life, and I won't go into all about because it's a long, long story as far as like how she got me into it. But when she did get me into the life, and I started to evolve, I realized, okay, what she said was actually, in a way, it was a wake up call because I, like Socrates, I thought sex was a performance. I thought it was porn, basically. So what I was trying to do to every woman that I saw was basically turn into a porn star and just fuck, 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 fuck. But I had no idea how to really engage with a woman. I had no clue how to listen to women. I had no clue how to form a connection with women. This particular lady taught me all of that. And she taught me that through the hot wifing lifestyle. Not only did I do a little, was I introduced to the hot wifing lifestyle, but she also, she was my handler for a couple of years. I actually did a little escorting over there. So that was my introduction to the life. Of course, this was a long time ago. We didn't have all of the words, you know, that we have now, hot wifing and what a BBC was and what a cuckold was. But that was my initial, like I said, baptism and jump into the hot wifing lifestyle with this 48-year-old lady. And then from there, it went on.
Okay. So you're now a mentor who at some point had a mentor that
Yes.
brought you along to where you can now share it with others. That's amazing. That's the gift that we can give when we have experience. And this podcast is a great example of it. Okay, so we got you two separately. How did Batman meet Robin? How did you two meet? And on top of that question, what happened one day where you guys saw a need? What was that need? And then the Bull Brotherhood was the answer to that.
So
Nephew?
I'll start because it was so basically uh, Michael C from Keys and Necklace podcast threw me a bachelor party for my wedding to Siren. So I flew out to where he's at and chilled with them for the weekend, and he had invited Brian. And I'll let Brian tell the story of how he knew we were going to be working together because he tells it better. But when I met Brian, you know what I don't mention a lot is what I pretty much like noticed is immediately I noticed how fucking dope and smooth this dude was, you know, and how he carried himself. and he had an air about himself that was like, I'm here, I know what I'm doing, I'm focused, but I don't give a fuck either. And I thought that was cool as fuck. So I almost immediately said, this is the type of brother I want to hang around. I want to rub elbows with, and see what we can do in this lifestyle. So I'll let him tell his story about that part.
Well, since you started off with the party, I'll go ahead and take it from there. But it actually started though at Splash Atlanta when we did the podcast.
Yep.
You remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway though, we're at the
That's
party.
where we
We're at the
first
party.
met. That's where we first met.
Exactly. That's when we first met. But at the party though, P, here again, a lot of people don't get me because of, and here again, that's why I am a Sigma male. I really do. I'm not just saying that to say it, but that is truly that is my aura. I survey the scene. I'm there. I let people, see me, but at the same time, I speak with a voice of silence. So we're at the party, and Michael had invited four couples, P, something like that.
Yep. And then one
Yeah,
other
something
one,
like that.
another one came later on that night.
Yeah,
Single lady.
yeah, exactly. So we're all sitting there, everybody's chilling, having a good time, talking. Here I am. I'm observing. I'm observing. Some very, very nice looking ladies there, but there was about one or two in particular that really fit the characteristics that I like. And so I was like, okay, I sat there. I sat there long enough. I looked at her. She looked at me, and I said to myself, okay, you make a note. You look one more time, and I'm gonna, do a little something to you. And she did. So I lo- I love to give massages. I love to give massages. And so I started to give this beautiful lady a massage. And I noticed that a few minutes into the massage, nephew comes over there and he starts massaging also. So I'm like, okay, I like how you came over here and did that. It was very, very smooth. And we kept massaging. And there's a certain way that I massage someone, it will let her know that I'm interested. Okay? It'll let her know I'm interested. Here again, speaking with the voice of silence. Well, it ended up we taking her into the bedroom, and it was his bachelor party. It was his bachelor party. And I wanted nothing more than for him to have the best time ever. I didn't even tell Michael that, but I'm like, I'm here for him. All right, that's the reason I flew in. And let's just say he showed his ass, as we say in the state of North Carolina. He showed his ass that night. Okay, he had a great time. And that let me know that, okay, if we would ever pull a caper together, that I was completely confident in his skill set. I know he was going to be able to not only follow, but to lead also. And the other time that I knew that he was on point with me, it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago in Atlanta, Socrates. It's been about 3 now, right? Or 2 years ago.
Atlanta was about 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 years ago in Atlanta, Michael had invited me to sit in on a podcast, and it was he along with Mr. Mocha, Socrates, and another gentleman. I forgot his name, but just that was the first time that I had ever introduced myself to anyone, especially as a Sigma male. And I gave a detailed definition of what a Sigma male is in the male hierarchy, in the male archetype. And I noticed, I was like, he's over there taking notes. Socrates is like, hey man, I need to write this down. There were certain things that I was saying, and he actually wrote it down, And I was like, okay, either he's, playing right now very well, or he really is taking this shit in. You know what I'm saying? And we talked a little bit more later on after that, and I was like, okay, that's somebody that I can take under my wing. I knew that he was very, very interested. I knew he'd been in the lifestyle as a single person. I had not met his wife at the time, but I knew that he wanted more. He wanted that knowledge. He wanted more knowledge. And here again, I'm pushing. I'm going on 60 years old, brother. You know what I mean? There comes a time in life where you need to pass the game on. You need to pass the knowledge on. Yeah, you still love to play. I do. I still love to play, but I am looking to pass knowledge on to guys who can keep this ball going and going and going and going. Because, like I said, I live it 24/7. This isn't just a lifestyle to me, man. This is my life. All right, really. This is my life.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I don't have is I'm not married. That's it. Those guys are.
Right.
But yeah, that's how we met, and that's how I knew that when he brought up a podcast, I knew that I would be very, very comfortable doing it with him. Because it's true. We're like night and day, but we're very, very similar also.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, the podcasts that I enjoy, the vanilla ones and the ones in a lifestyle, when there's two hosts, I like it when the dynamic is that, they bounce off of each other the way you guys do. So that's a good thing. Your differences meld together really well. So what would you guys say then? We're at the point when you guys get together and decide to make a podcast. What would you say the mission statement of the Bull Brotherhood is, or what need did you guys see where you were like, you know what, there's a lot of podcasts out there, but none of them are fulfilling this need. What did you guys come across that made you do this?
Go ahead, nephew.
Well, I think the biggest thing is I'm willing to say there is a standard and there is a framework that I think every single bull, no matter what race, what dynamic you're in, if you call yourself a bull, that there is a standard. And me and the Sigma male here agreed on that. That's number one. And number two, we felt like there was we talked about doing the podcast once we realized, you know what, there are standards and there are principles and there are frameworks that we believe in that enhance the experience significantly. We believe in that. Once we figured that out, I think it took maybe Brian Morgan about a week and a half to be like, we need a female perspective and we need to bring Siren on. And I'm not going to lie, in the beginning, I was skeptical. I was like, I don't know. But that was the best thing, because who gives a fuck about our opinion if the women out there be like, nah, son, that's not how it works, So once that came together, the need we're meeting is that we think there are principles and fundamental things that you can believe in and things you can do and things and a perspective that you can have that will lead you forward in this lifestyle and will get you better results. And we wanted to have a nerd's perspective who has a shorter experience time and a very smooth Sigma male who's got a distinguished career and has been in the game for a very long time and performed at the highest level. And right now, a damn near nymphomaniac woman who loves black men and loves quality black men and wants to grow in this lifestyle as well. And once Brian Morgan pointed that out, I was like, yeah, we have to do this.
Yeah, that's amazing. Anything to add to that, B, and what you think the mission statement is or the need you were feeling?
Brother, I'm gonna tell you, he hit it on the head, especially when he brought in that word, quality. I had been to several Splash Smoker events. Now here again, we're talking about Splash Smoker, but I don't care where you go. I don't care what type of event it is. P. You should look at yourself as one of the best things there. as my father would say, one of the baddest men that walked through the door, you know? And when a man calls himself a bull, that is what I'm looking at. I'm looking for that. I'm looking for all of those qualities that put together that will make for a great boyfriend or bull experience. You know, here again, I talk about the body game and everything. You don't have to look like a bodybuilder or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but take what the good Lord has given you and turn it into the best package that you can possibly, put together. Have your own type of style, have your aura. That's you. Okay, everybody's not going to be the alpha type of guy, but here again, that's why I wanted to do this podcast, let people know about, hey, you can be a bull, but be a different type of bull, because there are different types. And like I said, once Socrates and I talked and we put together, and we do have the mission statement. I wish I had it right here so I could actually read it. But once we got that together, I said it may take a little while because we aren't known around here, like everybody else is. But we're gonna put something together a little bit differently than the just a typical podcast. And I think our first episodes have been fire. I do.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting better, especially myself, because I'm not a talker. I've never spoken as much ever, maybe, than I have now. But I'm getting more comfortable, more comfortable with every episode. But he hit it on the head. I mean, that's what we're looking for. When we say Bull Brotherhood, we are looking for the elite of the elite gentlemen to come here into this fraternity. And you might as well say it because that's how I look at it.
Right.
Into this frat, and everybody is on the same page. If you put 5 guys up against the wall and put them in another splash event, everybody would be like, okay, those guys are part of the Brotherhood right there. They have that aura, they have that charisma, they have that special magnetic charm or appeal, that sets them off, sets them out from everybody else. So that's it.
Yeah, well said. I mean, one of the things I can tell you as a listener, not just a fan of you as bulls and as men, but of the product that you're creating. You said that you guys weren't like really well known. Well, I wouldn't get used to that, because this is the kind of podcast that is going to be shared by a variety of men who are entering a lifestyle. And one of the things I want to make sure people understand, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a kind of thing that is exclusionary, where we got this club and there's this door marked private and there's a velvet rope outside, and we're letting people in that are the people we see fit, because we want to create exclusivity, and we want to put a barrier up. But then there's another version of, we have a group, we have a fraternity, and we have certain standards, but we're trying to include people. We're trying to educate. We're trying to help the inexperienced guy become more experienced so that they can enter into this group. So it's more aspirational, and you're not excluding people. And I definitely feel like you guys are doing the latter, where you are trying to create the next members of the group, as opposed to create a barrier to people entering it. And that's what I feel when I listen to your podcast. You're basically planting the seeds for the next forest of bulls. And I think that's amazing.
Thank you very much. You just summed it up. Thank you.
Yeah. And so the last thing I want to do for this section, and then y'all motherfuckers get ready, because I got a surprise speed round of questions for y'all. And it's a surprise, but I'm gonna get to that after one more question about the foundations of this podcast. what have you guys learned? Because you're several podcasts in. Is it like maybe 14 eps so far or something like that?
Yes, sir. Today was the 14th one.
Mm-hmm.
So today was the 14th one. So what have you learned since the guys who started the podcast? What are the two gentlemen I'm talking to now know that they have learned, either being from feedback that you've gotten from listeners, or just as B was saying, I'm getting a little more adept at using this microphone and talking more. What have you learned over the 14 episodes that you might even, like, you know, tell your past selves, whisper in their ear, like, hey, look out for this, because you're going to learn this pretty quick.
I have to give credit for this one. So to specifically answer your question, Pete, I didn't learn anything. What I did do, or if I did learn anything, I learned Brian Morgan is a wise motherfucker. That's what I learned. Because, and the reason why I say that is, and we talk about Splash so much, I'm like, we got to visit some other places. But we were just at Fort Lauderdale Splash, and we had a lot of feedback because we recorded a few episodes there. We had our T-shirts, and a few people that previously knew about us, and we had our first, like, I'm your biggest fan, and he went into depth about why, and I didn't expect that so soon. I really didn't, and he pretty much described what Brian Morgan explained. And he told me, he says, he keeps saying this. We have to crawl before we walk. Got to walk before we run. You got to run before you leap. And so I wasn't expecting that. I was really just like, let's just get, 50 episodes under our belt and then see, and I just started marketing. And so I wasn't thinking that way. And when then this guy was sharing it, he described everything we laid down. You have this feminine perspective, and she's great at articulating that. She's got a great voice. And then you got my man here. What did he call him? He didn't call him Unc. OG. Yeah. You got OG over here, laying, putting it down. Then you over there, and you always quoting facts. And I was like, wow, that's exactly what I want people to think.
Yeah.
We want you to get the 360-degree viewpoint of this lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope I was answering that question. I don't know if I...
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like what you've learned, people are resonating with it, and you're learning that the dynamic that you guys have is resonating with people. So that was great.
Unc, and this is the way Unc designed it. So that's why I give him credit. He designed it this way.
Yeah. Catch some flowers, Unc. So, like,
nephew, I love you to death. I have learned. And here again, nephew, thank you. I love you to death, man. I really do. I have learned, and even though I haven't spoken to a lot of the gentlemen, I guess, that have, listened to the podcast, but I have learned, and I know, because I can feel that these other gentlemen now who maybe have gone to events and have listened to the podcast, I think they are becoming comfortable in their own skin now. Maybe they're saying, hey, maybe I am this Sigma, or maybe I am this kind of guy, instead of trying to be something that I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't be that alpha type of guy. Everybody can't be roaring, you know what I mean? And but every guy brings something to the table, but he has to be comfortable bringing himself to the table. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot sit there and try to be some damn body else, because then you will fail. But if you are comfortable in your own skin, and I do mean get comfortable, and here again, it takes time. Okay? It takes time. But once you find out who you really are and you perfect who you are, then you'll become successful in this lifestyle. And not only in this lifestyle, but just in life, period. Okay? because as nephew told you, I am. This is who I am, 24/7. This is who I am. I am a Sigma male, 24 to the definition of what a Sigma male is. Okay. And I don't steer away from it. You know what I mean? I've never tried to act like something that I'm not. And I that basically comes from who my 90-year-old father is. Okay, if I am an OG, as that gentleman said, if you meet him, boy, you'd be like, okay, that's Superfly right there, because he taught me well. But that's one of the things though that I have kind of hit me right now. And another thing, our chemistry, nephew's absolutely right. The chemistry, the three of us, the three amigos, what each one brings to the table, differently. Here again, I think it's gonna be special. It really is gonna be special, especially when we do an event. And yes, I just threw that out there. Yeah, we are sometime in the future. We're gonna do our own event.
Yep.
Okay. And,
yeah. Y'all not ready. I got it. This is an exclusive. This is a Pagan exclusive. On my interview, we are finding out that there are going to be Bull Brotherhood events in the future.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yes. That is the goal. It is going to happen. It is going to happen. All right. And of course, I want you to, whether we're out there or if it's on the East Coast or if it's down wherever, all right, south to southwest, I want Pagan to be there. All right. So put it on your calendar.
I'm packing as we record this. You know what I'm saying? I'm halfway in my luggage right now.
Put it on your calendar, brother. Put it on your calendar.
That sounds great.
All right. I want to. Can I jump in real quick and just put a cherry on top of that one? And you mentioned this too, Pagan, about the Brotherhood. We haven't spoke a lot about that because this is Michael C's idea. And Michael C gave us license to use the name and to move forward. But for those that don't know, if you don't listen to the Keys and Necklace podcast, we are looking for other men to join us in this. If you listen to these podcasts and you identify with the values that we're speaking of, please approach us. If you see us at Splash or any other events, or contact, email us, Instagram, whatever, because we are looking for bulls and other gentlemen in this lifestyle that want to approach it the way we do. Because our events are going to be different. We're not saying better, we're just saying different.
Yeah.
We'll say better after a few years of proving it, maybe, but right now I'll just say different.
Right.
So contact us. We are looking for that.
Gotcha. So you hear that, gentleman out there? The bull signal is up in the sky. Hit these guys up, and it's about including you, not excluding you.
Absolutely.
And creating building each other up. Okay, we've got the foundation. That's you guys' backstory, history, how you met, how you came to the podcast, the need that you're trying to fulfill, and everything that you've gleaned so far. All right. Now I'm going to surprise these guys. Audience, they do not know this is coming. They're very nervous right now. They're shaking. They don't know what I'm about to throw at them. They genuinely don't know. This is real right now.
Right. Okay? Exactly. Live.
I contacted some people who know you guys and love you guys. And I asked them, okay, tell me more about why you love this person, why you think this guy is not only a human being that you admire, but as a bull, what are the qualities that you see in them? And I thought this might be good because what I'm going to be talking about is your strengths and asking you why you feel your strengths, how they apply to the lifestyle, and why they have helped you be successful.
Okay.
Does that sound like a fun game? Okay. So, you guys are going to be covered in flowers by the end of this. I'm sure you can muddle through that. All right, let's go. So, Socrates, one of your friends described you as a sponge He's probably the spongiest motherfucker I know. It was a direct quote. And that means that you are a person who has a thirst for knowledge, for self-improvement. And they also mention you strive for excellence. So they are circling the idea that anybody who knows you well knows you're an educator, but you're also comfortable being the student. So can you tell us, why does that aspect of your personality help you as a bull, and what can other bulls maybe get out of being more like that and what it could do for them?
Oh yeah, brother, I'm impressed. That was pretty tight. Okay. Yeah, that was tight. Why does it help me? Oh my goodness. Here's the thing. There are, like we said, as far as our mission, there are universal principles. There are frameworks. There are like the anatomy of a woman's body. There are things that are consistent, that are replicable, that you can start with. It's not about, that won't tell you everything about that individual or the group you're a part of. But there are things you can learn that are fundamental. And I would rather learn those and then with that knowledge go through the trial and error, because you can't escape trial and error. But I'd rather come in, like I tell a lot of people, I listen to a lot of Michael C's podcasts. Well, he cleared up a lot of things of do's and don'ts for me. When I started, before I got married to Siren, I was just a single bull. And so I took a lot of those lessons and just applied it and saw that it worked. So yeah, I really do think people should do some kind of research. And we did an episode on that. And there's different kinds of research. You could be someone who gets in the books like me. You can be somebody who just needs experience, or you can be somebody who just wants to watch, whatever it is. I think you should add a little bit more research and talk to some people that are doing it the way you want to do it. Like when I met you, I was like, I like a lot of things about Pagan, but what really stands out is how he peacocks. It's dope that you don't even realize he's peacocking, but I know he's peacocking. And so I went to you, right? I just went straight to you and said, hey man, I want to learn this. I think it's dope.
Mm-hmm.
And it lended a very good, how do I put it? It opened my mind to a thought process that I'm almost done, like totally revamping my style in a way that fits me authentically, based on what I learned about the things you taught me. So yeah, I say, take the time and learn.
Yeah, that is such great advice. And one of the things I will say about you, and it almost speaks to the dynamic between you and B, because B, you have the other end of the spectrum of this. There's the thing about being an eternal student, and that means you never become so arrogant as to think you've learned everything.
Right.
You could master something, but mastery doesn't mean I'm done and now I just atrophy. We got to be like that shark that keeps moving forward, keep consuming, keep eating, and keep learning. So that balance of knowing and being confident, oh no, I've mastered this particular thing. I put in my 10,000 hours plus.
Right.
And the mattresses are there, destroyed to prove it. But the idea that I'm never going to learn everything and I can always grow is something that's really, you guys are basically like living examples of that spectrum. Okay. So
Very
B,
true.
you ready for watch out, some flowers coming your way. Wow.
Uh-oh. Do I want to hear this?
There was many, I think you do. There were many people who brought up very similar things. And you put it a good way earlier about being, having the voice of silence, quiet confidence. And one of the things, or actually four things that I want to start off with you. Several people talked about, this is a man that keeps his word. His word is bond. And then these 3 D's came up: diligent, disciplined, and detailed. So can you speak about being a man of his word and how some bulls, either because they should or by some other, misunderstandings, they have a reputation for not being that way? How they can avoid that and being a man of your word? How does that help you as a bull? But also this idea of being diligent, disciplined, and detailed. How do those aspects of your personality help you be successful as a bull?
I'm gonna start with the last three, with the discipline, the detail, and the diligence. That all comes from the two, although they were not in the military, but the two sergeant major parents that I have, who are still living. They taught that if you're gonna do something, you do it right, and if you're gonna tell somebody that you're gonna do something, then also keep your word. And your word, P, that's everything. That makes who you are to me.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I always do with couples, or a single woman, if I tell you I'm going to be someplace, they always know that I'm going to see them at 3:00. They always compliment me. They're like, "Do you ever get here like at 3:01, 3:02, or anything like that?" I said, "No. If I tell you 3, then usually that means I'm already in the AO at like 2:55. Your word is everything." And
Mm-hmm.
I stick to it. And that's just not in the lifestyle, but that's in life, period. These podcasts that we do, that means, hell, I'm ready at 6:45. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm-hmm.
letting you know, that there's no other priority at that time but you. You see what I'm saying? Tonight there was no
Yeah.
other priority but Pagan and Socrates and this podcast at 7:00. All right. So when I'm dealing with couples in the lifestyle and everything, I let them know that I'm there for you. You pleased me when you got in contact with me. So now it's all about you. So when I meet you, I'll let you know that I'm here for you. I'm one hell of a damn listener. Okay. So when we do the first initial talk, communication and talk to each other, I'm taking everything in. I'm taking everything in that you say. And now it's up to me now to go back and take what you said and put it together in a little nice format. And that's how I'm gonna treat you every time.
To me, like what you're also saying is the diligence, the discipline, being detailed is what allows you to keep your word because you got your shit together.
Yeah.
You're not being half-assed. You're not, oh man, I forgot. Oh, it's tonight with that couple? And then it
No.
causes people to not keep their word because they're not doing those 3 things that you do. So that sounds like great advice.
A man, a bull, or whatever you want to call yourself. But I break it down to a man. A man is good as his word. That's it.
Yeah.
That is it.
Well, this is really sage advice. All right. This one is going to go out to kind of both of y'all, just on 2 different ends. Socrates, this is under the whole subheading of confidence.
Yep.
And one of the things about you, Socrates, is one of our brothers was telling me, like, what I admire about Socrates is he's pulling these things in, as we talked about before, but like you can tell he's paying attention and he's absorbing it. I mean, B talked about you were taking notes, like for real,
Yep.
And one of the things I wanted to talk about was like when it comes to like self-confidence, you have been transparent about that wasn't always your strong suit.
Right.
And then for B, one of the main things people talk about is his self-confidence, and how he's unapologetic and like transparent, like his authenticity is off the charts. I don't know if a lot of folks know this, but B Morgan is not like a Tom Cruise. This is government. Like his life is out there, and his people, his family is aware. this is how honestly B is living. So that takes an extreme amount of self-confidence. So I just wanted to talk to both of you. Maybe you could go first, Socrates, about how like that journey of learning and then how much self-confidence you have now, which exudes from the podcast and from people who meet you. How did that help you? So there's a lot of bulls out there that have that issue and are trying to take the path you took. And then also, I just wanted to ask B after that, when it comes to self-confidence, how did you get there to this place that you're at, where you're almost like the Zen master of self-confidence that people talk about and admire, you know? But maybe Socrates, you can go first about your journey with that and how it could help another bull.
Yeah. So, like I think I don't know if we were on the podcast together. I think it was O Faces when I talked about it first. And I think Dimitri's on there and everything. But yeah, I would say this. I was 80% there before I met several people. And it's 3 people 100% that got me there. And then Unc kind of sealed it for me. But I grew up, we talked about my upbringing and how crazy I grew up. And I grew up really confused. Very multicultural, moved around a lot of different experiences, a lot of different family backgrounds and dynamics. So I really grew up thinking, well, I need to be all black, but I'm not. I'm also a little bit Puerto Rican. I speak Spanish. I love the language. And I love black history, and I need to be like Malcolm X, but, I really like white folks. And, white folks are cool. And, so I grew up really confused. It just all over the place. But I also grew up improving myself and working on myself and getting better at almost everything I do. And so I got to a point where, when I say I was about 80% there, I got to the point where it's like, man, I got some skills. It's not like I'm ugly. It's not like don't have anything to offer, but I knew that 20% was the thing that was missing that not allowed me to be confident. So I was insecure because I was like, well, I'm 80% there, but I'm for whatever reason, it's not translating with people around me. So fast forward, what happened is I met 3 important people, and then including Unc, Brian Morgan, sealing it. My wife, Michael C., and Mr. Mocha. And first, my wife taught me one thing. It was the people I was surrounding myself with. I would not post on Facebook because I didn't want to deal with maybe 20% of people hating on me or hating on the idea. Just not even, and I definitely didn't want to talk to anybody about it. So she taught me it's really all about the people on your page and the people you surround yourself with, And so, that was one. And then she taught me about my self-talk. Siren is really big into manifestation and positive mental attitude and perspective. And I have learned a lot about that. But I realized I had a lot of negative self-talk in my head saying I'm not going to be successful, or people don't appreciate this, or it's not going to happen. So that really laid down a good foundation. And then, I don't know if I've told this story yet, but me and Michael C. started talking, and I think this is when I first started producing for his show for a while. And he was talking about confidence, and he tells a story of him looking at confidence as a suit that you put on, or a personality that you add to yourself, and looking at it as if, it's a third party. And saying to yourself one thing: what would confident LeBron do in this moment? And that little small paradigm shift totally changed the game for me. Because I would ask myself, what would LeBron do? And half the time I'm like, no, that's some stupid shit. Don't do that. And then I wouldn't do anything, or I'd do some stupid shit. But so I couldn't ask myself that. But then what would confident LeBron do? That gave my nerdish brain almost a connection to a file. And I can I can go into my brain for all the things that books I've read and things I've studied and YouTube channels and whatever I've done on what cool people do and how I could do it for myself authentically. And so it kind of gave me like this database of things that I can, oh, cool, LeBron would say this, and cool, and confident LeBron would say, do that. And confident LeBron would just go up to her and, say this and say, So that changed the game. And then last, it was a personal conversation that me and Mr. Mocha were having. And I was talking about the diversity of who I am. I speak Spanish. I like to speak proper English, but I'm also born in the country. I've been around every kind of race. I grew up on a farm sometimes, in a hood the next, and around very educated and, career-focused black folks and ministry to gangsters and, thugs and pimps. So I grew up confused about all of it. Like, who am I? And Mr. Mocha damn near yelled at me and was like, dude, I wish I had all them damn skills. You don't need to freaking pick one, you all of it. Nickel. He was going off on me. In love. But he was, I'm tired of this shit.
Yeah.
And he would say,
I've been on the end of one of them Damians.
Right?
I've been on the end of one of them conversations. That's a good impression you just did. That was good.
Yeah. And so he was like, man, he started off with, do you know, because, I think it was the Atlanta splash. I got in trouble because I was trying to holler at some of the employees. I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to do that. But they were Latinas. And so I was hollering in Spanish. And he was like, man, do you know what I would do if I just had that one? So he helped me realize, like, it's all me. If I show up in some cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, that's me, like, straight up. If I show up in some Chucks and some khaki suits and a red hat and a red bandana, that's me. Last splash, I was a nerd, for one of the, that's me. And that's who I am. Fuck the rest if you don't like it, And then Brian Morgan explained to me what a real Sigma male is, and then he read off something. I don't know if he wrote it or found it somewhere, but he talked about the kind of Sigma male that I am, which is somebody who holds very complicated, almost sometimes contradictory ideas in his head at one time and can process it. Like, you know how Tesla can imagine things in his head digitally? Like, in a physical way, three-dimensionally. I can do that with concepts. I can't do that with objects, but I can hold several long process of concepts in my head. And he explained that is a version of Sigma male. And I was like, oh, that's it. So that gave it a container. That gave it a framework to put all the other stuff in that Siren and Michael C. and Mr. Mocha taught me. And that sealed it. It was done.
Okay. That brings us to B. In terms of getting it where you are with your self-confidence, which, as you say, you live this life 24/7. Many people wish they could do that. Many people, are obviously afraid of that. But in terms of that, or just having self-confidence in general as a bull, which we all know, we're all attracted to people who have it. How did you get there, and what advice could you give like a young bull?
First of all, here again, be who you are, be yourself. And that takes time to find out who you really are. Okay. My journey started, of course, and here again, I'm bringing up the OG of all OGs to me, and that's my dad. My father says, son, look at yourself in the mirror, and every day when you wake up and you visualize, you see what you look like. He said, you be extra proud of that person. He said, it doesn't matter if you're a skinny guy, because here again, I had problems with being skinny, and I did not develop until I joined the military. So he told me, he said, just be very, very confident in who you are 24/7. He said, when you walk into a room, don't walk into the room, become the room. Take the room. And I always kept that in the back of my mind. Now, when I joined the military, I met some sergeants major, about 2 or 3 guys, one in the gym who took me under his wing. And that was where I started developing a physique. And when I did that, that changed my whole mindset, Pagan. It really did. I was able to, here again, like my dad said, I wouldn't walk into the club. I took the club. I would do what he said, walk around about 2 or 3 times and let them see the package. And then come back and you sit down in the corner and you just sit there. Don't get up anymore. Don't get up. He said, you be just like a particular secret agent that I won't say the 3 numbers and stuff, but we all know who it is. Okay, 00, and I'll stop it there. But you said, you be just like that guy sitting over there in the corner, and you give them something to think about. And they're going to look at you and they're going to be like, okay, who is he? I mean, who is this guy? Who is this guy? And it went from there. I kind of recreated Brian Morgan. And I always said to myself, when I got into the lifestyle and I started, going on SDC and SLS and all that stuff, AFF, and I would see, the usernames and and all that. And I was like, okay, my name is Brian Morgan. What the hell's wrong with that? This is who I am. So I was like, I'm sticking to that, And yes, I looked up the archetypes of the Sigma male, and I was like, okay, that's what I am too. I'm a bull, but I am a Sigma first and foremost. So here again, I stuck with who I am instead of trying to go to events or trying to, be somebody that I'm not. And what I would tell the young guys that are coming into this life right now is to sit back. If you attend an event or whatever, small event, whatever, sit back and just look at some of the guys who are there. Observe, see how they work. If that is something that you think you might be able to, emulate, okay, cool. But I would suggest though you find out, like I said, find out what works for you. Find out what works for you.
Yeah.
If you are a talker, by all means, conversate. All right. If you're not a talker like myself and you have an aura about you, sit there. Let's see who comes to you. If you have a little bit of both, branch out. Let's see how you work. But don't be afraid to fail. That's another thing about confidence also. Don't be afraid to fail. And when you fail big. Because when you come back with the right equation, that's going to make you a dangerous motherfucker. And that's what happened to me. I had to fail a couple of times in order to get the equation right. But when I got it right, and now it has evolved over the years, that's who the Sigma male is now.
Yeah.
Whoever you talk to and they were like, yeah, he's confident and he's this and he's that, thank you. Tell them thank you, because they kind of hit it right on the head. That's who I am.
I gotta break it to you. That's everybody. That's how everybody describes you.
Okay, good.
The great thing about what I got from both of you guys that is a thread that I heard throughout is that you can create your own reality. Confidence is not a bus that you're waiting on and you're sitting at a bus stop and it's going to stop by. It's something that you make. Socrates, you talked about like that moment with Michael C. when he was just like, it's like a suit you put on.
Right.
B, you talked about a time when your body transformed and your mind followed that transformation.
Yes.
There's things that you guys actualized and did. You guys remind me of there's an amazing speaker, Amy Cuddy. She's does a great TED Talk you can check out. But she did an experiment where just by putting your hands on your hips or sitting in a chair with your legs like spread open in a power pose, these poses trick your body into thinking you're in charge, even when you might be nervous and not in charge.
Mm.
And so if you put your hands on your hips for 2 minutes, she found out, your cortisol drops. That's the fear hormone. It drops like 20%. Your testosterone shoots up and you have more confidence. So you can literally like fake it till you make it is something that people say, oh, that's bullshit. No, that's how it works. You make it happen by just acting like it. And that's what you guys do, which is really interesting. But I don't have time for, but I think one more question maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to make it a good one. Socrates, one of the things people said about you is, and this is definitely sounds like the guy we talked about earlier, who's always self-improving and striving for knowledge. You're just a listener. You're not like a talker. You talk when you have listened already. How does that help a bull across the board, from dealing with other bulls to dealing with couples, women? How do you think that's helped you?
Well, first, let me give my wife credit for getting me there, because she really helped me develop that skill. And like Unc said, thank whoever said that. I really appreciate that. I want to go back to some old school wisdom, and people have dropped this, especially I'm big in the Manosphere or Red Pill community, or the Andrew Tate thing. Not that I like Andrew, I don't really like Andrew Tate, but I'm big in that community. I learn a lot, especially with a guy called Orion Taraban. I really like the way his perspective is. But so when John Gray described men are from Mars, women are from Venus, his fundamental principle is that we communicate in a different way. And men and women throughout the years have gone through a transformation, especially when it comes to the workforce. And back in the day, we were like hunters. And what does a hunter do when he's hunting? He's quiet. He's low. He doesn't make a lot of noise. You don't want to scare or frighten or chase away the thing you're hunting. So he would say, we're not hunters anymore. We're in an office space, we work from home. We're on a computer. He says, but you could do that with your wife or your girlfriend. And he says, get low, be quiet, listen more. And what happens is that, all quiet people will tell you one statement. If you shut up and listen, that person will tell you everything you want to know. And it's so true.
So true.
And so in the lifestyle, it's the same thing. Listen, almost every woman you're playing with has a way they want you to approach her. And if you listen, she'll tell you straight out or give you a lot of clues. She'll tell you what she values and what she doesn't value. She'll mention things like, well, those people over there are doing that. And I'm not judging, but she'll give you hints on what she likes and what she doesn't like. So that's a recent skill that I've learned that has really paid off recently, because when I'm focused and I'm listening to what she's saying, it helps a bull so many ways, because she wants you to succeed, right? You're the one with the hard dick. You're the one that has to perform. Not that it's a thing where, you have to make her happy or you're at her beck and call or anything like that, but men perform, right? And so you're both enjoying each other, but she wants you to succeed. She wants you to know what you're doing. Now, some of them want you to ask questions and guess, or just do what you do and figure it out. But when you're listening to her, she's giving you clues, especially in a lifestyle setting. If you're at a lifestyle party or cruise or wherever, you know what you're there for. We know what we're there for. I mean, half the people at a vanilla club know what they're there for, But so listen, because when another old school book I recommend, it's a vanilla book. It's called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of the habits, I think the second habit was the 6th habit. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. And and another thing that Siren always says, be interested, not interesting. So if you can sit back and be interested in what she about and remember what her dress was when you met her and mention it later, or understand what really got her there. I like to hear origin stories. What got you to sexual freedom? Those kind of things. What were some of the barriers that get you here, mentally and physically, financially, or anything? What's the story of how you got to be so liberate? All those kind of things gives you clues on who she is and how you can approach her. And when you do that, it makes it. I don't know if should use this word, but it makes it more efficient. And I don't mean efficient like heartless or cold. I mean, you're going to get to the things that she wants you to get to, that you want to, which is a good time, which is to see if you vibe. Because a lot of times if you listen, you realize pretty soon or really early on in the conversation, we don't vibe. Like, you cool and everything, but we don't vibe. And we're going to be talking about it in a future episode about different cliques and why I think cliques are good sometimes, and how certain kind of vibes and certain kind of groups. So when you listen, you can tell, okay, is she feeling me or is she not? Am I vibing? Is she vibing? What are her values are? Where is she coming from? That information, even if it's just subconsciously being registered, it all helps, man. And it all helps you enjoying, having a good time and reducing friction,
Can I add on to that? I know it's not my question, but can I just say something?
No, go ahead.
Nephew hit it out of the park. He absolutely hit it out of the park. But I also have to say that when you are, as a bull, when you are in tune with that couple via listening like that, and you are not only listening, but you giving them that eye contact, and you will find out very, very quickly that they, not just her, that they are into you. They've already given their signal to each other that, okay, we definitely want to see this guy again, because he's not just here just to bed you down tonight. He's actually getting to know us as a couple. He's putting us first and foremost. He's making us feel like we are the only couple on the face of the earth right now. And I am loving this shit. All right. Her body language. If you guys started sitting, say a little bit kind of sort of distance away from each other, but at the end of the conversation, she's done moved over almost, to where you are. And God forbid if she throws the little forearm touch or the little touch on the knee or something like that. Oh, brother, you're in there. You're in there, okay? And that is what couples are looking for, in my opinion, when I say bulls provide the bull boyfriend experience. That's what they're looking for.
That's great. So, B, last one for you. A lot of the people who admired you were talking about how, like, you have made a journey that they admire, because you used to be a lone wolf, and now you have taken this path where you are one of the leaders in Brotherhood, in creating a community and having a standard. So can you talk a little bit about that, like, for the lone wolves out there listening who might want to be that, and that's perfectly fine, nothing wrong with it, but there's others who might want to have more brotherhood. Can you talk about your journey and maybe help those guys out?
First and foremost, I'm still a lone wolf. But I've opened up the gate a little bit. I've opened up the gate a lot. At my age now, like I said before, I want to bring other guys in. I want to teach. I want to mentor. I want whether you're younger or you're older, I want other guys to come in and embrace who they really are in this lifestyle. If you are Sigma, if you're Alpha, doesn't matter, all right? Come in and be you. Come in and be you. So what I've done is as I said before, normally I'm not a huge conversationalist. I'm not a talker. I have gone through 30 years of being in this lifestyle of being the CEO and president of Me Phi Me fraternity. Okay, I did not have anybody that I ran with until now, and to have let a group of brothers like you guys come into my life, I realized that I needed it. I really did need it because I am seeing how there are different prototypes out there. All right, such as yourself, Pagan. With all of your knowledge and intellect, as well as nephew. With the listening skills that he has, but also as he calls himself, uh, he's nerdy with it. I don't think he's nerdy. I just think he's unique. Michael C, Mr. Mocha, Dimitri, everybody brings something different to this brotherhood. So if I'm telling a young buck out there how to navigate in this lifestyle, if he may be a lone wolf, if you're a young dude, it is fine right now. Here again, to find yourself if you're in your 20s or 30s. But as you get older, and you begin to set certain standards about yourself, and you see that they're working, and not only that they're working, other people are gravitating to you, other guys are gravitating, wanting to talk to you and find out what you're all about, and have questions of such and such. Let them in. Don't shut them out like I did. I was guilty of that, up until now. But let them in. Teach. There's nothing wrong with teaching. There's nothing wrong with helping that age you in growing and becoming a better bull in this lifestyle. So, I hope I didn't throw it in there, kind of different, but hell, that's me.
No,
That's
it's really good. I love that you clarified. You still identify as a lone wolf, but you have learned over time the value of what the pack can provide.
Yes.
So
yes.
it doesn't mean you don't still have your own style, but you
Sure.
have learned the value of the brotherhood.
Sure.
And obviously, you guys have this podcast. You are clearly reaching out to people that you are maybe never going to meet, but helping. So that's a really good way to look at it. You don't have to give up being a lone wolf to do what you're doing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. And the beauty of this brotherhood between ourselves and Michael C, Dimitri, Mocha, is that we all bring something different to the table, and when you put the whole equation together, that's just that's a beautiful thing. It's not only beautiful, but I'm like, God damn, that's a weapon. You know what I mean? It really is a weapon. And here again, all of this knowledge needs to be told. It needs to be told. And God forbid when we do start having these events, ladies and gentlemen, this shit is gonna be wild. It's going to be not only a play event, but we are going to be teaching, we are going to be mentoring, and we're all going to be passing down this knowledge, not only to the bulls out there, but for the couples also. And this journey is just ongoing, man. I love it. I love where we're going.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, both for allowing me to take a few steps on that journey with you tonight. This was amazing. I got to learn a lot about you guys I didn't know. I'm sure the audience is going to learn a lot too. But also, I feel like this was a really valuable episode. I don't know, man. This might be, if you have an episode 1, this might be episode 0. This might be the prequel. Where
the prequel. There you go.
People get to know you, and then you launch into one. I don't know, but this was a really great way to get to know you, and for the audience just to understand, like, oh, so this is who is giving me advice, and you guys are uniquely qualified to do it. I feel like everyone from the mentee to the mentor, and everything in between, as well as the female perspective with Siren, you guys have a really unique dynamic that can reach out to so many people, man. And I'm a nerd too, Socrates, man. I think about how these radio waves and all the stuff that we send out, it just goes out forever into
Right.
space.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you don't know, man. It could be 100,000 years from now, some bull on planet Zebulon 5 is gonna be listening to this going, oh, that's what I need to do. Oh, okay. So yeah, I just love that you guys are putting this out in the world, and you don't know where the good that you're doing is going, but it's definitely putting out positive energy. So appreciate being a part of it, gentlemen.
Brother, thank you so much, man, for taking your time tonight to come here and be that special host. I tell you, although you and I have not shaken hands yet and actually met, I feel like we've known each other for years. I really do.
Exactly.
I really
Same,
do. I
same,
feel like
bro.
we have known. I
Real.
feel like we have known each other for years. And here again, that's just what I'm talking about, man. The core of this brotherhood. We are truly brothers. We are brothers.
Yeah.
And like I said, I cannot wait to damn chop it up with your ass in person. I know I am going to trip. You, Socrates, Michael C, man, shit. I'm gonna sit in the corner and just be like, okay, roll it. You know, I'm telling you. I'm telling you again.
I can't wait.
Again, brother,
Yeah.
thank you for your time, man. Nephew,
Thank
you got anything to say before we call it a night?
Yeah, I just want to thank you again, Pagan. You know, we knew you were gonna, you know, throw some curveballs, and we really appreciate it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
and yeah, I just want to say thank you. You did an amazing job. We really appreciate it, and yeah, we're just looking forward to the future, man, and everything. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, gentlemen. And with that, I will let you guys sign off on your podcast. I'm handing you the reins back. It's yours again. Take it away.
All right, brother. Again, man, thank you for everything, okay? And to the listeners out there, we hope you have enjoyed another informative podcast from the Bull Brotherhood. And again, thank you to our brother Pagan for being that special co-host tonight and bringing just that knowledge, just dropping that knowledge to everybody tonight. And as I sign off, this is Sigma Male, B. Morgan, along with my boy, the nephew himself, Socrates. And to all the Bull Brotherhood out there, good night. And to all of my lovely hot wives, good morning. Until we meet again, talk again. Good night.